This is a short orientation for the module Planes of the Body and Surfaces for the unit Anatomy and Human Biology 5451, Human Biology for Medical Physicists. The module is presented in 4 parts following on from this orientation. First, we introduce the concepts of the principal anatomical planes, the anatomical position, and their relevance to body imaging. In Part 2, we explore the anatomical joints, their axes of movement and types of joint mechanisms. We learn to describe body movements at joints using appropriate anatomical language, including special movements of the hands, feet, and jaw. In the third part, we learn to describe the relative location of one anatomical feature to another, illustrating this in the appendicular body. We explore the axial body and its body cavities, noting the textural qualities of their contained structures, particularly as that relates to imaging. Lastly, we see how a knowledge of surface anatomy is used in clinical practice. Surface anatomy is important in the context of patient imaging as clinicians map symptoms to surface anatomy regions and then likely request imaging via that location. We reflect briefly on the differences in scanning normal versus abnormal structures. The model concludes by the student's reflection on achieving the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes for this module are that on completion of the module, the student will be able to name the 3 principal planes of the body and illustrate them in the axial and appendicular body while it stands upright, is lying horizontal and prone. Use anatomical axis terminology appropriately to describe and demonstrate the range of movements allowed at freely movable joints of the axial and appendicular adult human body. Demonstrate appropriate use of a range of directional terms to describe the relative location of individual body elements. And explain the way in which the internal body cavity structure affects imaging from different surface anatomy locations on the axial body. And remember, it's easy to practice for some of these learning outcomes by using your own body as the model. Now it's time to move on to Part 1.